Hi everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife, the Brous Blades Bionic. The Brous Blades Bionic is the cheapest, or at least expensive, knife in the Brous lineup, which includes the Division flipper, the T3 flipper, the Silent Soldier flipper, and then this knife, the Bionic. The blade length is just under 3 inches long. The handle scales are made of aluminum, and you can get them anodized in any color. This is the blue model. As you can see inside there are steel liners. They're milled out, and there is a pocket clip. The blade is made of D2 steel. It has a nice groove up here, some jimping up here, which is very aggressively cut, and then it has something of a sheep's foot or Wharncliffe blade style. The handle is quite nice. It has space for all 4 fingers, even though it's a relatively small knife, and it puts the handle puts your fingers right in line with the blade, so you can get some pretty good cutting action right all the way up to the edge. This knife came to me, and it was very, very sharp. The flipper was sharp. The jimping by the flipper was very sharp. The tip right here was extremely sharp. And there was just, see if I can get it to do it now. It's much more difficult. Right there, you can see, the blade goes all the way to the tip of the knife. And when I first got it, it actually poked out just a little bit. It was all very, very, very pointy. In fact, as you can see, I still have a little bit of a scar from flipping it. I flipped it probably no more than 20 times before I developed a blister, and then the blister broke and it bled. And it was like a week and a half ago. So I wanted to review the knife, but as it came, I felt like it was so rough and so sharp that it probably wouldn't be a fair review. And so what I did was I contacted Jason. Jason's email comes in the tube that the knife comes in. And I said, hey, there are a couple things I didn't like about the knife. I really like the overall design. Would you mind tweaking them? And he said no. And I sent it to him. And he sent it back, 2-day delivery. So it was very fast. It was gone from my possession for probably 4 days. And I came back, and as you can see here, the tip has been rounded down, which is good, because that was really pokey, especially when you'd reach in, because the knife is tip up. You'd reach in to catch it with your finger, and it would poke you. The blade's tip, and let's see if I can get it in the light, you can see it's kind of a different profile right there. He took off a little bit on the tip. He smoothed out the jimping in the back. You can see now that there's something of like a little glide path for your finger. When it landed, it used to catch on that last bit of jimping, and it would just rip up your finger. And then the final thing Jason did is he rounded over the flipper a little bit to make it less pointy. And the end result, let me see if I can do this, is a knife that flips wonderfully. This is just a great flipping knife. It had good smooth action before, but it was not pleasant to flip because it would catch your finger. But now it is very nice. The knife came very, very sharp out of the box. The D2 steel is a steel that I've grown to like. It's technically not a full stainless steel, but I've never had any D2 rust issues. So I doubt that this one will give me any problems. The overall construction of the knife is very, very nice. The tolerances on the knife are very good. The fit and finish on the knife is very good. Everything about the knife is just something that I think is solid, especially at the $159 price point. $159 is the retail price from Jason. You can get them from a bunch of his retailers. This one came purchased with my own money from Blade HQ. And inside there you can see that there is the number, and this is 371 out of 1100. And I don't know if everybody's happy with theirs as it came, but I was not exactly happy, and I am very happy with how Jason treated the knife and treated the situation. He basically said, you know, look, that's the way I designed the knife, but if you're not happy, let me know and I'll fix it. And he did. There is a little bit of anodizing missing, as you can see, but I don't really care. This was never going to be a knife that was going to be like a safe queen. So it doesn't really bother me, but now the knife is much easier, much better to use. And I really, like I said, other than those little sharp edges, this was a great knife to begin with. It's very, very light. I think it weighs about 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, and it's a full 3-inch blade, almost a 3-inch blade. This blade centering was really good. The pivot is lock solid. I mean, you get no movement in there. The D10 is actually pretty strong, so it takes a very purposeful motion to get the knife open. It's not something that you can accidentally flip open. Let me show you in comparison to another flipper that I have. So, I'll show you how this one fires. That one is really, really solid. It has a really strong D10. This one, you have to sort of load up your finger to get it to work right. I mean, it'll work and it'll flip well, but it's not quite as much of a, punch when it comes out. The D10 on this knife is much stronger than the D10 on the Hinderer. And so this knife is significantly more expensive than this knife. I'm not saying this knife is better than a Hinderer, but for the money, it is one heck of a knife, and it is a great flipper. Watch this. Ready? The lockup here is so early. There have been a lot of people saying that you can get your lock to disengage. I haven't been able to do that. I haven't really tried, but I haven't been able to do that. This is one of those things that Jason just does. This is the second knife that I've had of his. I had a Silent Soldier flipper that I reviewed for All Outdoor, and that knife had very early lockup, much earlier than this. And as you can see, it's got a lot of movement to go. So this knife will wear in probably pretty nicely. Overall, once the fixes were in on this knife, it is definitely one of my favorite knives that I have right now. I don't know exactly what the score will be. I had to carry it a little more to evaluate that and figure it out. But I like the look of the knife. I like the blue anodizing. It looks very good, especially in person. It's kind of hard to pick up on the camera. And I like the groove. I like Jason's overall aesthetic. He calls it a biomechanical thing, but it just sort of always reminds me of like H.G. Geiger or something. So that's the overview of the Brous Blades Bionic Flipper. The review will be